Just 1 minute ago, a political earthquake exploded through London. A devastating new poll has sent shockwaves from City Hall to Labour headquarters, rattling the entire political class. 71% of Londoners, yes, 71, now say they trust Prince William more than their own mayor, Sadiq Khan, to solve the city's greatest crisis. This isn't a poll. It's an indictment, a total collapse of faith in the man running Britain's capital. And it all began 3 days ago when Sadiq Khan made the single most reckless decision of his political life. It started when Prince William, acting not as a politician but as a servant of the people, launched his bold Homewards project, offering royal land and royal funds to build homes for the homeless. It was the kind of act people dream of seeing from leaders. Direct, human, real. A moment that cut through all the noise of politics. For once, the future king stepped into the arena, not to speak, but to build. Most politicians would have welcomed it, celebrated it, maybe even stood beside him in unity. But Sadiq Khan saw something else. He didn't see hope. He saw a threat. Instead of gratitude, he lashed out. At an emergency press conference, Khan mocked the prince's plan, sneering that it was nothing more than performative charity, a royal vanity project, and declared that London didn't need saving by palaces. Those words detonated like a bomb. Within minutes, the clip went viral. At first, his aides smiled, thinking it was clever political theatre, but they didn't realise what they'd just unleashed. The backlash was instant. Across London, ordinary citizens, veterans, single mothers, pensioners, people who had lost faith in politics, took offence. To them, the Prince's project wasn't vanity. It was the first glimmer of compassion they'd seen in years. And Sadiq Khan had just spat on it. Within 24 hours, phones inside City Hall were ringing non-stop, donors pulling back, councillors panicking. But that was only the beginning, because Kensington Palace wasn't going to stay silent. The countermove was coming, and it would be lethal. The next morning, cameras gathered in Lewisham as Prince William arrived at a community centre, one of the first Homewards sites. City Hall officials had declined the invitation. The atmosphere was tense. William was expected to give a short, scripted, neutral update, but when he looked at the faces before him, families, veterans, volunteers, something changed. He set aside his notes. A hush fell. His aides shifted nervously. And then, in that calm, steady voice, he began, "This project is not about us. It's about the most vulnerable in our communities. It's about David. It's about Sarah. This is about service. Not headlines. It's about building homes, not building political profiles with cheap shots from the sidelines." 10 seconds, that was all it took. He never said Sadiq Khan's name. He didn't have to. The silence that followed was electric. And then applause, deafening, thunderous applause that rolled through the hall. It wasn't polite approval. It was relief. The people had found a voice that sounded like theirs. Within an hour, that 10-second clip was everywhere. By noon, it had been viewed 40 million times. By 5 p.m, the Homewards project website had crashed under traffic. Donations poured in so fast the servers failed. Over £520 million pledged in a single day, most of it small sums from ordinary people. £10, £20, £50, every pound a message, "We believe in this." And then the corporations joined in. 24 of the nation's largest construction and development firms issued a joint statement announcing they would back the Homewards initiative with free land, materials and labour. Their words were a direct rebuke to City Hall, praising leadership where politics had failed. By nightfall, the headlines were everywhere. The Prince builds. The mayor mocks in London's pubs. Commuters cheered. On talk radio, callers wept. And inside City Hall, panic. Aides demanded a response. Khan refused. He told them, "It'll blow over." It didn't. The next morning, the full YouGov poll dropped, and it was brutal. 68% of Londoners called Khan's comments petty and disgraceful. Only 18% thought he was right. Even Labour's safest strongholds turned cold. In Southwark, 59% now said they trusted Prince William more to fix housing. In Tooting, Khan's own borough, his approval ratings collapsed overnight. Hashtags "I stand with William and Khan must go" dominated global trends for 18 hours straight. It wasn't just a political loss, it was humiliation on an international scale, but the real destruction was happening behind the scenes. Leaked documents from Khan's own policy unit began circulating among journalists. We've seen them. They show that 3 days before his press conference, his chief housing advisor, Dr. Miles Evans, had warned him in writing that the Palace Initiative was solid, funded and overwhelmingly popular. Evans wrote, "To oppose this would be politically catastrophic and morally indefensible." Khan ignored him out of pride, out of ego. He couldn't stand the idea of a royal succeeding where he had failed. And now that memo, the smoking gun, was everywhere. The Guardian, the Times, the Mail. The damage was irreversible. Inside Labour headquarters, chaos, senior officials shouting, phones slamming, resignation threats flying. 3 members of the shadow cabinet demanded that Keir Starmer publicly condemn Khan. His deputy mayor was overheard muttering, "He's finished." Its overstaff has fled, quietly deleting LinkedIn pages, erasing any trace of their time on housing policy. One aide later confessed, "We were watching the building burn and he just kept pouring petrol." Sources now say Sadiq Khan is isolated, locked in his office late at night, scrolling through social media, watching his career collapse in real time. His calls with Starmer have become explosive. According to insiders, the Labour leader shouted, "You've made our job impossible. You attacked a prince trying to help the homeless. You've handed the Tories a weapon for the next election." While Labour implodes, its rivals are circling. Nigel Farage and Reform UK have branded themselves the defenders of British tradition. On GB News, Farage declared, "Sadiq Khan has shown us exactly what the modern Labour Party thinks of Britain. They sneer at our institutions, our values and our royal family. When a future king builds homes, they call it vanity. It's a disgrace." Those words have become a rallying cry. Reform UK's membership has surged 300% in 48 hours. Donations flooding in not from billionaires but from working class Londoners, transport workers, nurses, veterans, people who feel betrayed. The crisis is no longer local, it's international. Canada's Prime Minister praised William's inspiring leadership on housing. Australia's opposition leader called Khan's comments a disgrace to the Commonwealth. New Zealand's Prime Minister added, "True leadership builds hope. It doesn't tear it down for politics." Analysts warn that London's stability and reputation are at risk. 2 major international development projects worth £8 billion have already been paused. Investors citing concerns about City Hall's competence. Inside City Hall, civil servants have reached breaking point. Senior officials are now quietly exploring legal grounds for removal under the Greater London Authority Act. If proven that Khan acted knowingly against the city's moral and financial interests, it could trigger a constitutional crisis, and the humiliation keeps deepening. Next week, Prince William will visit 3 boroughs, Southwark, Ealing, Lewisham, to launch the first Homewards construction sites. Protocol requires the mayor to receive him. Khan has refused, a historic breach of etiquette. The palace has acknowledged the snub privately, but the message is clear: the mayor is in hiding. Meanwhile, Labour leader Keir Starmer faces an impossible choice. If he condemns Khan, he splits his party. If he stays silent, he looks weak, like an anti-monarchy. Either way, the damage is done. Britain hasn't seen a showdown like this in generations. A politician versus a prince. Ego versus duty, arrogance versus service, and for once the public knows exactly who they stand with. Prince William didn't need to shout. He didn't need to fight. 10 seconds of calm truth cut deeper than 1,000 press conferences. In that moment, the world didn't see a royal figurehead. They saw a leader. They saw a future king. And now one question remains, the question echoing through London streets, through Parliament, through every party headquarters in Britain. Did Prince William just end Sadiq Khan's political life with 10 calm surgical words? Or will the mayor cling to power, a broken man surrounded by betrayal, until his own party finally forces him out in disgrace? Let us know your thoughts below, because this story is far from over.